Hello, welcome back to the videos. This is video number 5 in that series that we called Transition Licks and Ideas, where we're basically looking for some Scruggs style ideas to help us move between chord changes in songs. We use the key of G for our example. We're calling the G, the C, and the D chords the 1, 4, 5, as you'll hear referred to as in the Nashville number system. And those just represent the chord changes that you hear in keys, like the key of G. So G, C, and D is our 1, our 4, and our 5. And in this video, we'll kind of wrap up the Scruggs transition ideas with moving from the D chord back to the G, which is the 5 back to the 1. So let's zoom the fingerboard. And I'm going to be playing some ideas out of that D position. I might not need the whole D position for, most of the transition licks you'll hear, but I just want to try to use the shape at first to give you an indication of where we're going to be moving, what strings we're going to be moving to and from. So let's say we're playing a traditional song with the G, C, D progression. We've moved from G, and then eventually we've gone to C or C here or anywhere. And if you wind up in the lower positions, or if you're playing in the lower positions, like we've been doing in the videos, the transition licks are leading you around to the open G, to this C position, the first position, and then this first position, D. So one lick that leaps to mind, coming from the D, let's say you're playing out of the D position, and we don't know how long you're going to be in the D position, because even though we know this is the 5 chord, we don't know how many measures, or measure and a half, or 2 measures and a half. But at some point you'll want to exit the D and go back to G. That's pretty easy to do, because if you're in standard tuning, G would be open. So let's try to move from this D position to open. What did I do there? Well, I was playing in the D position, then I left the entire shape, and I took advantage of the open first string, and then I did a slide or a hammer, your choice. And then I played the 5th string open, which gives us a hint of the G chord that's to come. I worked my way down chromatically, then open to G. Now you'll recognize these notes as notes that you commonly hear in kickoffs. But we're just reversing the notes, basically, so that we have a way to exit the D chord into G. So let me use that in the context of 9-Pound Hammer, which is a song I use in just about all these videos. So even though I'm not really playing a true D chord, I could even play the 4th string open, just to give me a little hint of that sound. I'm actually just using the 1st string as my D note, and the 2nd string at 3 is my D note, and then the 5th string is kind of just like a filler note. And then once I leave this position, then I'm back to G. I can play anything I want. Alright, another very commonly heard transition lick from D back to G involves just playing notes of the G scale, leading you back to G. So you could be playing in a D position, rolling, or playing some kind of lick. And all I'm doing there is playing the 3rd string out of the chord, which is this note, 3rd string at 2, and then playing the 4th string. And again, those are grouped like 16th notes. If you're playing in common time or cuts, you change the value of the note depending on the signature. But if I was playing this as an 8th note, those first 2 notes would be 16ths. So I'm playing 3, 4, and walking up. There's an E note, an F sharp note, and then back to G. So that leads me pretty quickly back to G. So again, for review, here's the first lick. And then add the fifth string if you like for a little flavor. And then that leads you to G. And then you can do the scale walk up. And of course, anything before that is up to you. It's optional, but this is just the lick is what we're concentrating on. And then back to G. Now you could also be playing a D7 chord, which we talked about before. This is another way beginners will use D7 instead of the full D. So you could be playing across it. And again, this is reminiscent of another lick we used to get from the 4 chord to the 5 chord, but we're resolving it differently. So I'm using a pull off of the first fret of the second string, which is playing out of that D7 position, going to that A note on the third string at 2, and then open B, open second, back to that A note, back to the fourth string at 4, which is F sharp, back to G. So there's another transition idea that you can try. So for review, here are the 3 licks back to back. Into G, walking out of the D position back to G, which is third string at 2, open 4, then walk up 4 at the second, 4 at the fourth, and that leads you back to G. And then we have this D7 idea, which has a pull off. Pull off, third at 2, open 2, third at 2, fourth at 4, and then that would lead you to, say, the open third for G. Now I'll try to use all 3 of these in the context of 9-pound hammer, and this is, again, not a solo or anything. Maybe I'm just doing rolling backup. Missed it. I hung out a little too long. Let me do that again. There it is. So try these ideas out to help you get between D and G, which is, you know, a pretty natural feeling change because you're pretty much finished with that section of the song, usually at that point, and it's leading you back to the 1 chord, back to G. And then, so have fun with those, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.